There's Hope family. Listen, I'm so encouraged this morning. I don't even know how to explain the joy that is in my soul. But I'm going to do my best to quickly just share something that the Holy Spirit just like did in my life this morning, and just it brought so much joy, so much healing and encouragement to my soul. So I'm gonna share it with you really quick. As you can see in the description, the title of this video is God's Redirection is Not Rejection. So I woke up this morning probably around like, what time was it? Oh my goodness. It was three something this morning. And I read a little bit and I was like, let me just get some things done. Just because I wanted to push off my prayer, because sometimes I can get in the mood. So I journaled first. And my journaling had me in a bit of a frustrated mood with God, if I can say that, just in complete transparency. I was just frustrated with God. So by the time I got to my prayer time, man, God is so good. By the time I got to my prayer time, I was still frustrated, but there was this sense of thankfulness that had filled my heart during my prayer time. So I'm praying and I just began to thank God for all the things that He's done in my life, and I went from frustrated to still just like this expression of like, God, I don't know what you are doing. Just in honesty, like, God, I don't know what you're doing with my life. Like, where are you? Where are you taking me? Like, what are you doing? It just doesn't make sense out of all the things that I thought you'd be doing in my life at this point in time, or what I would be able to see in the near future, or even, in the distant future, I still be able to see it. What's going on in my life at this moment doesn't make sense to what I thought, or I've been thinking, or I've been working at. Like the things I've been working on, it just doesn't make sense. So I prayed for a little bit. I share that frustration. But I get up with a thankful heart, like God has really been so good to me. So anyways, I keep it moving. I'm on my way to the gym. And I'm going to get on the interstate to go to the gym, but it's blocked off. There's an officer there. Lights are on. You gotta go a different direction. So I start going, I go the other way to the other interstate, and I'm like, I need my GPS because I don't know how to get to the gym from this direction. Put in my GPS, I see where I'm going, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of familiar with this. And it's like during that drive, during that redirection, it's like the Holy Spirit just really began to encourage my heart. And was reminding me that God is in the redirection of your life. And there are times we're on a path to get to a certain destination, to accomplish goals, both spiritually and practically, things that we believe God has placed in our lap to do, placed in our hands to work. And it's like I'm working it and I'm doing it, but it doesn't seem like there's any give happening for me. I'm praying honestly about like, hey, do you want me to continue to do this? Am I saying the things you want me to say when I'm doing, or when I'm working what you placed in my hands? Like, I just need some assurance. And it's like the Holy Spirit used that one incident to remind me that God is in the redirecting of our lives. And for us, it's redirection, but for God in His sovereignty, He knew that this would be the way that He would take us. And sometimes we get set in our ways, set on a certain path, and we're like, okay, God, you have to get me there this way. But God has His own way of doing things. And And the Bible talks about in Isaiah, I believe it's 55, his ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. As high as the heaven is from the earth, so are his ways from our ways and his thoughts from our thoughts. And I'm just reminded that how we plan to get to a certain destination is not God's plan for us most of the time. There's so many examples in the Bible. Joseph had that dream. It was a prophetic dream. And he had no idea he would be sold in slavery by his brothers. He would be imprisoned wrongly. He would be forgotten, what was seen to be forgotten by the men whose dreams he interpreted while he was in jail. And then, of course, God started to work out his situation to put him in position to fulfill the dreams, right? But all those things were like a redirection in a sense, because it's like Joseph hadn't done anything wrong to end up where he didn't do anything wrong to end up in slavery. He didn't do anything wrong to end up in prison. He was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, and he was thrown in jail. And sometimes these things happen. And I'm sure Joseph in his humanity wasn't thinking God's going to fulfill this promise and prophetic dream in my life this way. But God's redirection is not his rejection. It's so many stories in the Bible that we see this through. We see it through Moses. Moses' heart to, get his brothers and sisters from up under that sinful slavery they were in Egypt. We see it with Paul, Paul being used, the Apostle Paul being used to preach and share the gospel, only to find himself in prison for sharing the gospel, persecuted for sharing the gospel, being opposed and attacked. The Bible talks about how he went hungry, how he went with, there were times where he was shipwrecked, just so many things. Here's my point. I was having a fit this morning, just inside, just like expressing that I don't know what you are doing. And I'm not saying like, God, you don't know what you're doing, but I literally was like, God, I don't know what you're doing. Am I doing something wrong? Talk to me, And it was just that simple redirection in traffic this morning that the Holy Spirit used to encourage me. And I want to encourage you. Sometimes we do cause these redirections from sin, from lack of faith, from just not discerning opportunities that are for us. And, God is able to work those things out and work it out for good. But there are times where we think that we're going to get to a certain destination by a certain time and on a certain route. And God has something completely different in mind, a different route and a different time frame in mind. And I just want to encourage you this morning. God's redirection, or what seems like a redirection to you, is not rejection of his promise. It's not rejection of the hard work you've done. It's not a rejection that you won't accomplish. Look at it as God's faithfulness to keep you in a posture of trusting him. Because sometimes when we can get to a place on our own by way of the route we knew to take, we won't necessarily trust God. But when God allows our path to redirect us, we have no other choice but to trust him. So this morning for me, I don't know when you'll be watching this, but understand this: God's redirection is not rejection, but rather another means for you to see how faithful he is to fulfill his promise in your life, for you to trust him with timing, and you arriving at the destination, and lastly, for you to know that a man or a woman, we have our plans, but God already knows how he's going to get us there. Trust him with the route that he takes you on. Keep working, keep praying, keep sharing, in prayer your frustrations. Don't lose sight of that. Don't feel bad about it. In the Bible, especially in the Psalms, we see a lot of frustrating prayers and songs from David and the different writers and poems of their frustration with God. So, and with their lives. So don't get discouraged. Keep doing it. Keep going to God. Keep trusting it. And man, listen, it's not his rejection. Just trust it as an opportunity for him to show you how faithful he is. That even if you have to go on a different path, and the timing that you thought you would get there versus the timing that he has designed for you to get there, just trust the fact that he's going to get you there. And a lot of times, in all honesty, I got to the gym at the time I had planned to get there. And sometimes, even with God, we think that we're late, but we are right on time. So trust God, and always know, no matter what it looks like, no matter what you've experienced in the past, what you've been going through right now, always remember there's hope. God bless you and keep you. All right? See y'all in the next video.